Hey everyone, I'm Alex from Crime Canvas. Today let's dive into a wild murder mystery that started with something as unexpected as a fight over a doctor's bill. Picture this, Dr. Tomasz Kosowski, a fancy cosmetic surgeon. You'd think he's all about saving faces, not taking lives, right? But hold on to your hats, because reality can throw some serious curveballs. Turns out, this doc might just have a darker side. And that's the thing, folks. A killer could be lurking in the most unexpected places, even among the people we admire and trust the most. The story begins on a typical Tuesday morning in Largo, Florida, in March 2023, when the life of attorney Steven Cozzi suddenly turned mysterious. He left his desk with documents still open on his computer screen and soft background music playing from his phone. There were no signs that he planned to be away from the office for long. However, his walk into the common office area where he worked, an action he had performed hundreds of times over a long period, now became one of his last. As Steven entered the bathroom from there, he mysteriously disappeared. His disappearance raises the question, what happened to Steven? In our exploration of today's case, we will visit Largo, Florida, located in Pinellas County within the Tampa Bay area. Largo is not only famous for its beautiful botanical gardens, where people often spend time walking and relaxing, but also for Indian Rocks Beach, with its calm bay waters, tranquil streets, and seaside shacks. Largo attracts many visitors seeking to enjoy peaceful moments. In today's story, we will learn about the main character, Steven Cozzi, a 41-year-old attorney. Steven is an alumnus of Stetson University, where he earned his law degree in 2016. After graduating, he was hired as an associate at Blanchard Law, a firm based in Largo specializing in bankruptcy and representing local professionals and companies that are non-criminal. They also have expertise in resolving business disputes, including tax and contract law. Beyond a successful career, Steven also enjoyed a happy personal life with his partner, Michael Montgomery. After 5 years at Blanchard, Steven had become the closest friend of the firm's manager, Jake Blanchard. Jake saw Steven not just as an employee, but as a dear friend. Therefore, when something horrific happened to Steven on the morning of March 21, 2023, Jake was deeply concerned. The law firm's office is located in a large building that includes various other offices, common areas, shared bathrooms, and cloakrooms. March 21st was a typical Tuesday at the office. Steven had a virtual court session scheduled at 10 a.m. He arrived at the office around 8 a.m. and started his day before the hearing. At 10 a.m., Steven left the office to use the restroom. Hours later, he had not returned, and no one had seen him leave the building. Surveillance cameras outside the building confirmed that Steven was still inside the building. This clearly worried Jake, as Steven had arrived at work at 8 a.m., but there were no signs he had left the building. Additionally, an email draft was open on Steven's computer, and soft music was playing from his phone. Tomasz Kosowski, Steven's wallet, and car keys were also left nearby, as Steven did not return for a long time. Jake decided to check on his colleague to find out what was going on. Jake's initial reaction was nothing but confusion. He wondered if Steven was okay, whether he had gotten lost, been assaulted, or had an accident. The confusion soon turned to fear as Jake entered the shared bathroom. He noticed a stain that he believed might be blood at the entrance, continuing inside. Jake was overwhelmed by the smell of bleach and other chemical cleaners, stronger than usual, and not a common occurrence. He felt that the target areas in the room had been thoroughly cleaned. He then noticed similar signs on a dirty spot on the wall, which looked like bloodstains on the toilet and just below it. Feeling that something was amiss, Jake decided to call the police, telling them that he could see a stain like a blood spot on the wall next to the toilet. It seemed like someone had tried to clean it, apparently using a very strong bleach, but the paint had peeled off. After officials conducted a thorough sweep of the entire building and local hospitals, no trace of Steven was found, and no leads were gathered. However, they discovered that the only entrance to the building was through the main lobby of the Blanchard Law Office, but there were no indoor surveillance cameras in the building. Luckily, Investigators had access to the exterior surveillance cameras placed at the main lobby entrance. Upon quickly inspecting the stains in the bathroom, they determined it was blood. When the forensic team descended upon the office building, they found a large amount of blood that had been cleaned off the restroom floor. They also found some white fibers similar to those in Steven's car. The car remained at the building. The act of cleaning the fingerprint residue left a black film covering everything around the restroom. Additionally, there was evidence of blood with fingerprints detected, including one fingerprint from the left index finger lifted from the utility room door. This room had a lock and was out of sight, so few paid attention to it. People in the building, along with an employee from another company working in the building, provided information to investigators that a week earlier, on March 14th, they witnessed a man hiding behind the utility room door and waiting for Steven there. This person found a hiding spot near the restroom, observed, and waited for an opportunity to approach him from behind. It's possible this room may have been locked from the inside for some time. As investigators continued to assess the scene, they shifted their focus to carefully reviewing the exterior surveillance cameras. Clearly, Steven was no longer in the building, and something suspicious had happened in the shared bathroom. During the review of the surveillance, staff discovered that a gray Toyota Tundra had arrived at the office building at 8 a.m. on the same day. 2 minutes later, an unidentified man exited the vehicle, wearing gloves, carried a large box, and only held a large backpack inside. A few minutes after, the unidentified man entered the front door, which was also when Steven arrived at work. Subsequently, the unidentified man was seen being escorted out of the building 2 hours later at 10:22 a.m., according to the police report. As he left the building, the man escorted out had the same build. Steven Cozzi, a lawyer, entered the scene carrying the same backpack as usual, although he had changed his attire. Additionally, he was pulling something on a dolly behind him, seemingly a heavy object. This dolly was covered by a red material, or possibly a blanket, placed over it by a mysterious man who then attempted to load it onto a Toyota pickup truck. Clearly struggling, the man tried to load the dolly onto the truck. Using the surveillance camera system, investigators traced the license plate number of the truck and tracked its journey from a law office in the Tarpon Springs area. Footage captured by the camera showed a shape resembling a bag or a blanket, seemingly containing something described as a human corpse, on the bed of the truck. From there, investigators were certain that Steven was likely no longer alive. This news was a big shock to his friends and family. They hoped that the driver of the pickup truck would be identified swiftly. After about an hour of travel, the truck arrived at its destination in Tarpon Springs, at a large luxurious mansion owned by a wealthy and successful cosmetic surgeon, Dr. Tomasz Kosowski, situated in the Tampa Bay area. Dr. Kosowski had not registered the truck after purchasing it in October 2022, so initially, the police had difficulty tracking the vehicle. Investigators approached the seller of the truck, who provided information about the truck to the state authorities. When the police tracked the video footage of the truck's journey along the Florida coastline, they discovered that Dr. Tomasz had vanished. It was unbelievable that a renowned cosmetic surgeon would become the prime suspect in the murder of a talented lawyer like Steven. Steven was a kind and sweet person, highly regarded by all his colleagues at work for his personality and abilities. Everyone loved Steven. Therefore, the idea of him being murdered by a doctor was unimaginable. Before moving on to the next details of the case, let's take a moment to learn a bit about this doctor and his relationship with lawyer Steven Cozzi to find out the motive behind this murder. Dr. Tomasz Kosowski, also known as the Tampa Bay Doctor, is a board-certified cosmetic surgeon by the Ivy League Council. The Ivy League Council is a consortium of 8 top universities in the United States, including Harvard University, Yale University, Princeton University, Columbia University, Brown University, Dartmouth College, University of Pennsylvania, and Cornell University. With its long-standing reputation and prestige, the Ivy League Council is not only a symbol of high-quality education, but also has significant influence on the international community. Dr. Thomas graduated from the prestigious Dartmouth College of Medicine and has over 8 years of experience in breast reconstruction surgery, as certified by his attorney. On social media, he mainly shares about his work. With excellent professional skills, he has earned a lot of money and admiration from many people. Dr. Thomas owns a multi-million-dollar mansion in Tarpon Springs, where he is believed to live alone. Additionally, he also has an apartment in Miami, where he frequently works. On his YouTube channel, Thomas shares information about various surgeries, from breast augmentation to facelifts. His videos often show the surgical process, and he frequently presents the steps performed in front of the camera while the surgery is taking place. According to a close friend of Thomas, Adam Barta, he is a kind-hearted man, with family being his top priority. Adam also confirmed that Thomas's online image is very important to him. Social media has become an integral part of Tomas's career. However, Tomas's reputation has been threatened by Steven Cozzi's clients. On the morning he disappeared, Steven was involved in a hearing at 10 a.m. related to a lawsuit that Tomas had filed against some of his former clients, represented by Steven. These clients were employees of the Law for Plastic Surgery Institute, where Tomas previously worked. Tomas left the Law for Institute in 2018 and later established an independent practice. In 2023, he sued the Law for Institute, as well as some former colleagues, for alleged malpractice, including failure to submit insurance claims and billing clients reasonably. The lawsuit resulted in tens of thousands of dollars in damages and sparked a series of negative reviews about his work posted online. According to Thomas, these reviews permanently damaged his reputation in the medical field. In the lawsuit, he is seeking over $15,000 in damages. Due to these scandals, Dr. Thomas's career prospects have been tarnished, and he has had to pay compensation without any fault on his part. In the lawsuit, Steven was declared the representative of Tomas's former employer and colleagues, while Tomas, after disagreeing with the previous counsel, decided to represent himself. In fact, his latest submission in the lawsuit was filed a few days after Steven mysteriously disappeared. Tomas was present at the 10 a.m. meeting on the 21st, while Steven was not. Meanwhile, a gloved man suspected of being involved in Steven's disappearance was seen pushing a heavy cart out of the building at 10:22 a.m. Thomas called the meeting at 10:28 a.m. and maintained the call for about 30 minutes. After Tomas ended the call at 11:05 a.m., the gloved man began to move. It's a strange coincidence. Missing lawyer. He then left his cart near the Tundra truck, struggled with it, and then drove it from Blanchard Law Office to the mansion in Tarpon Springs. Dr. Thomas requested approximately $15,000 in compensation, as mentioned earlier, an amount that, according to his close associates, is not significant enough to concern this wealthy doctor. So it's not just about the money. Court documents show that in the final meeting between the parties in the lawsuit in January 2023, the discussion between Steven and Tomasz became tense. Although Steven was described as a lawyer with a courteous demeanor and the nicest man you could meet, Tomas also had positive things to say about him. Tomas was described as hot-headed, but according to his friends, he was not someone to lose his temper easily. He might certainly become irritable, but never lose his cool. They rated Tomas as one of the calmest people they knew. Could this case stem from a deeper underlying cause? On Thursday, March 23rd, detectives executed a search warrant at the doctor's house where they found a Toyota Tundra, similar to the one captured on surveillance cameras in the law office's garage. They noticed the presence of blood on the driver's seat, headrest, floorboards, and garage floor, but neither Steven nor Tomas was found. The police announced through the media for the public to report any information regarding the discovery of Steven or Tomasz's registered vehicle. Detectives stated that their investigation into this disappearance is actively ongoing, but they declined to provide further information. 2 days later, Tomasz was stopped by police while driving a red Corolla back into Pinellas County. Tarpon Springs police conducted a search of the vehicle and found a bag on the floorboard. Investigators found several suspicious items inside, including $280,000 in cash, masks, duct tape, a stun gun, a bulletproof vest with EMS written on it, law enforcement patches, and a vial of succinylcholine, a paralyzing drug. They also discovered a bulletproof vest with significant bloodstains on it. It is unclear if the cosmetic surgeon had an explanation for why these items were in his car, or if there are further discoveries about his vehicle. This discovery led to the inevitable conclusion that Steven was no longer alive. Michael, Steven's husband, spoke about all the positive qualities and values he demonstrated at a prayer service held just a few days after his disappearance. "I am Michael Montgomery. Steven asked me to spend the rest of his life with him a few years ago. My heart is broken, but it is held together with tape and sticks. Those qualities are things I greatly admire in him. He's truly remarkable, you know." Michael Montgomery also posted a message last month, saying he released the remaining ashes of Steven into the wind on March 25th. Tomasz was arrested and charged with the highest degree of murder of Steven, according to court records from prosecutors. The Florida plastic surgeon was charged with killing a lawyer and dumping the body in the Everglades with paralyzing drugs, a body bag for transporting the body, and a pickup truck with special license plate flipping equipment to avoid detection, prosecutors said in court documents. Tomasz received a call from a Toyota pickup truck outside the office and had the tools to commit murder, including garbage bags, a syringe containing paralyzing drugs, and a cart to tow the body out. Although Steven's body has never been found, investigators used phone records and surveillance video to track Tomasz to a remote area west of Miami on the Tamiami Trail, also known as US Route 41, where they believe Tomasz threw the body into a dumpster, ultimately picked up by garbage trucks, authorities said. The driver noticed an unusual foul smell at the stop, prosecutors said. An emotion requesting the judge to hold Tomasz without bail. Video from the dumpster truck pouring into the garbage truck shows a large garbage bag falling in a manner unlike normal garbage, they said. The shape of the package and the way it fell looked consistent with something that could contain a human body, according to court documents. A police cadaver dog examination also indicated a body was in the dumpster. Trash from this route is typically taken to the Collier County landfill, but authorities searching for Steven's body said this facility regularly compacts trash, rendering recovery efforts nearly impossible. New details emerged in court records ahead of a July 17th hearing, where Tomasz's attorneys plan to request he be released on bond in Florida. Anyone charged with first-degree murder is typically held without bond pending trial, unless the defense can offer compelling reasons why they shouldn't be. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. Tomasz, 44, has not pleaded gay crime and is currently being held without bond. The doctor's lawyers representing Tomasz spoke out, stating that the prosecution's evidence remains circumstantial and there is no threat from Tomasz. They assert that their client will comply with the law and not attempt to evade responsibility. If released, Tomasz, also known as Dr. K, plans to continue residing in his multi-million-dollar riverfront home in Tarpon Springs. Court documents present evidence against Tomasz from prosecutors, including the discovery of Steven's blood and DNA in the law office's bathroom and in the garage at Tomasz's home. Additionally, authorities noted that Tomasz purchased a Toyota truck with cash weeks before Steven was killed, and this vehicle was never registered, with a license plate flipping device allowing for easy plate replacement with the push of a button. One of the associated license plates had been registered to a deceased individual, according to court records. Approximately 200 firearms were found during the search of Tomasz's home. Meanwhile, Steven seems to have vanished without a trace. His keys, wallet, and cell phone were still on his desk at the law office, and a work file was open on his computer. The judge stated that she found probable cause based on the information presented in the arrest affidavit. This document outlines a chilling sequence of events linking the doctor to the attack. Though it's not explicitly stated, however, the motive can only be inferred from the contentious relationship between Tomasz and Steven through the lawsuit. This was sufficient to charge him with murder. The judge noted there was ample evidence to charge him. In this instance, Tomasz opted not to represent himself. His attorneys have publicly cautioned against rushing to any conclusions. Keep an open mind. These are very serious allegations, and he is presumed innocent until proven guilty and is currently incarcerated. While his alleged murderer sits in jail, attorneys representing Steven Cozzi's family have taken initial steps to close the case. Because of the nature of this crime, the brutal facts of this case, the fact that we still don't know where his body is, and probably never will, there's a lot I can do to bring closure to a family and help them move on. But this is one that will stay with Michael and Steve's mom for the rest of their lives, and I can tell you it's going to be a big deal. Stephen Barnes, attorney for Steven's family, said about why they will sue Tomasz. A 13-page wrongful death lawsuit has been filed seeking damages in the wrongful death of Steven Cozzi. Steven's family has filed a wrongful death suit against the man accused of killing the lawyer and the owner of the building where investigators believe the crime occurred. Steven Barnes, representing Lois Cozzi, Steven Cozzi's mother, filed a 13-page civil complaint in Pinellas County against Tomasz Kosowski, 44, and M.H. Belcher Property LLC, seeking damages in the death of 41-year-old Steven Cozzi. Barnes said that while Lois Cozzi is the representative of Steven Cozzi's estate, any monetary benefits would go to Michael Montgomery, Steven Cozzi's husband. Thomas's attorney, Bjorn Brunvend, said he had no comment on the lawsuit. Barnes said the purpose of a civil suit is to compensate Michael for what he's lost, aside from a child. I think losing a spouse is one of the biggest losses anyone can endure. The lawsuit against M.H. Belcher Property LLC alleges that the property owner failed to secure building access or utility closet, Barnes said. Sloppy security cases are some of the hardest cases to prosecute because you have a third party, in this case a doctor, coming onto someone else's property and committing a heinous act. It's very difficult for a person to find out the truth, whether it be a judge or a jury, to understand why a property owner should be held accountable for that. Finally, they resolved all issues amicably. In Thomas's criminal case, a judge has rescheduled that trial for May 19, 2025. Thomas's lawyer, Bjorn Brunvend, filed a motion to continue the trial, writing in court documents that counsel has diligently conducted depositions and investigated potential evidence, but does not believe the case is trial-ready by the scheduled trial date of January 27, 2025. Brunvend also noted the lead counsel has a month-long trial scheduled with the federal court in New Jersey set for January 2025. The cosmetic surgeon could spend the rest of his life in prison and face the death penalty if convicted. Whatever the outcome, hopefully, the perpetrator of Steven Cozzi's death will face appropriate punishment. Our deepest condolences go out to Steven Cozzi, as well as his family and friends. Steven's loss is not only a great loss to his family, but also a significant loss to the community. He was described as an outstanding friend, relative, and colleague. We hope that in memories of Steven, his family and friends will find comfort and strength to overcome this ordeal. The story comes to an end here. Thank you for taking the time to follow along. What are your thoughts on this case? If you found my story interesting and engaging, please leave a comment with the No 1. If you feel improvements are needed, comment with the number 2. For any other thoughts, please comment below. Additionally, our channel offers many other thrilling true crime documentaries waiting for you to discover. Your support is the motivation that helps us continue to grow, so please leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated.